You're not that high.
Pretty high.
No, it's not, Neil.
It is.
The cat did it.
That's true.
Mate, stay calm. We do this all the time.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
You'll be fine.
Take your feet back!
Sometimes only a real person will understand.
Hi, I've been in a bit of an accident.
Do you need any emergency services?
No, I think we've got that covered.
Luckily, you can speak to someone at AAMI 24/7.
Real guys, real sport, Bar TV.
When I played professional footy, it was all about the training and what I ate. Champions don't run on junk food. So if you want to get the most out of your game and your life, you've got to put the right stuff in. Don't undo all your hard work with what you eat and drink. And after a game, think fruit and water. When the whistle blows, make sure you finish with the right stuff.
Authorised by the New South Wales Government, Sydney.
And welcome back to Glenwillow Park here in beautiful Bidgee. And what a day. From the skies above and the first match of the morning, an absolute ripper between the Greater Northern Tigers, who have been able to come away as AAMI Under-16s Country Championship premiers by defeating the Bidgee Bulls by a margin of 10 points. By 30 points to 20. So we just stand by now for the second match of the afternoon between the Bidgee Bulls and the Newcastle Rebels. Let's go through the Bidgee Bulls as they'll take to the park here today in the Under-18s Grand Final. At fullback we have James Smith. He's from the Cootamundra Bulldogs. Hayden Ashcroft. He'll be in number 2. He's from the Wagga Kangaroos. Callum Greenwood from the Gungahlin Bulls will go to 3. Sam Bremich from the Wagga Brothers will be in 4. Edwards from West Belconnen. He'll be playing on the other wing for the Bulls in jersey number 5. From the Gungahlin Bulls, we find their 5'8", their big 5'8", in Jesse Smith-Shields. He loves to run rather than pass, so check out him today for the number 6 of the Bidgee Bulls. The 7, the halfback, is Cameron Heads. He's the captain. He's from the Junee Diesels. The 8, the prop, is Zach Masters. He's from the Tumut Blues. Bailey Graham. He's a cheeky dummy half. He's a great communicator. He's from West Belconnen. The 10 is Daniel Kerr, great line runner from the Gungahlin Bulls. Connor McCauley in 11 from the Junee Diesels. And the 12, their tough, hard-working back rower, is Dustin Lister. He's from West Belconnen. And their charging lock is Hayden Cowell from Cootamundra. The interchange bench for the Bidgee Bulls looks this way. Sam Humphreys from Wagga, Sean Maloney, Jai Thompson, and Nick Hay. And the 18th man who was named was from the South Sydney Bulls, and of course that is Josh Cochran. Their coach is Tim Humphreys. Let's go through the Newcastle Rebels. Big crowd back in Newcastle, glued to the screen to watch this one. At fullback is the 3rd generation Curry player who has tasted first-grade experience with the Bulldogs, in Kyle Smith. As the Rebels make their way onto the park, Braden Musgrove will go to 2, Brodie McKinney from Maitland in 3, Lakes United's Callan Guest in 4. Matt Cooper from Lakes in 5. He was a member of the Newcastle Knights. Harold Matthews, winning grand final side from last year as well. Big raps on him. He scored 14 tries in 12 games last year with Newcastle and scored 6 tries alone when they played against St George. The captain of Newcastle Rebels is Zach Hosking. He's the son of Manly front rower David Hosking, or ex-Manly front rower. He's from Central. Jaden Wright will go to 12. Zach Keenan in 10. Bryce Kennedy, the son of Newcastle Knight and Raider Ben Kennedy, will play hooker. Tyler LaPrince Campbell from Maitland will go to 11. Jaden Hosking from West Newcastle. Nice story about Jaden Hosking. He only relocated from Perth in 2014 to play Harold Matthews. And 12 months later, he's out here in the AAMI Under-18's Grand Final, taking on the Bidgee Bulls. The Cessnock lock rower, Bailey Bromwich in 13. The interchange for the Rebels, Nash Birch, Dom Murphy, Blazak in 16, and Brad Johnson in jersey number 17. And of course, Brad Johnson, for our elder folks listening to this coverage, he was the son of the 1983 New South Wales State of Origin forward in Lindsay Johnston. And the 18th man for the Newcastle Rebels is Joel Taylor. Comes from the Central Newcastle Butcher Boys. And the coach of Newcastle is Steve Kidd, former Cessnock Goanna coach. Took the Goannas to their grand final spot last year up against Western Suburbs. That was in first grade. And this year, he's an assistant with Rowan Kelly at Central Newcastle. So the Bulls getting us underway with the attack here as the Rebels were able to bang it downfield. Bidgee Bulls being represented the region in all 4 games here on grand final day. Couldn't quite get the biscuits in the under-16s, going down to the Tigers. Looking to bounce back here against Newcastle. The kick going away from Kyle Smith. He's on his own 10-metre line before the defence comes through there from Connor McCauley from the Junee Diesels. Now this is Musgrove. He comes from Cessnock in the Newcastle Rugby League competition. Played a lot of junior football with the Cessnock Goannas. So a good start from the Rebels, taking it towards the halfway line. This is Kennedy, as I said, son of the ex-Canberra and Knights player in Ben Kennedy. This is Claude Edwards for the Bulls, over there on the eastern touchline wing. He's from West Belconnen. Loves to find the ball either side of the field. Loves to swap and change as quickly as possible when he's allowed. Over the halfway line now. Charging run by the Bulls. Casson from Lakes wraps him up. Quick play the ball. Comes away to Graham. Now to McCauley. And Guest from Lakes. Puts him into the ground. 30 metres out from the Rebels line. Backer comes to the captain in hands. Rebels did well out there. That was Matt Cooper from Lakes. Being driven back towards his own goal line. Because Matt Cooper is a member of the Newcastle Knights, as I mentioned, 2014 Harold Matthews grand final winning side. He scored 14 tries that season in 12 games and picked up 6 tries against the Dragons on his own to make up those 14 tries in those 12 games. A phenomenal effort there from Lakes' Matt Cooper. So the Rebels throwing it around, looking to go to the eastern edge of the field. Losing it out there though. Picked up by the Bulls, and they come away with it through Edwards. Of course, Steve Kidd, the coach of Newcastle, also assisted by Adam Bettrich, who was the first grade coach of the South Newcastle Lions back in the Newcastle Rugby League competition. This is Lister. Tough, hard-working back rower. Away to Shields. He finds Hands. This is Greenwood. Back to Hands. Giving it away to Macaulay. A metre out from the Rebels' goal line. Bramich. Is this the first try to the Bulls? They're about to open their account. They lead Newcastle by 4 points to 0 on the CRL scoreboard. Well, we've only had 4 minutes of the match. And the young Bidgee Bulls, as you can see there, dominating possession early on in good territory to crack. And the Newcastle Rebels were just caught napping out here on the middle of the field, and they celebrate the try in grand fashion. So the Bidgee Bulls, it's time off here. Of course, their coach is Tim Humphreys. Tim actually is an undefeated premiership coach with brothers in the Wagga competition. An undefeated premiership coach with the Brothers 18's in the Group 9 last season. And Tim brings a wealth of experience and is well supported by his playing staff. Of course, the manager out there for the Bidgee Bulls in this under 18's program is Paul Strutt. Trainers are Tom Barber, David Bush, and Stuart Rose. So James Smith from the Cootamundra Bulldogs, one of 8 players who was in the successful 16 side in 2013, converts the try. So 5 minutes gone here in Mudgee on grand final day for the Country Rugby League. It's the Bulls leading the Rebels by 6 points to 0. So Wright getting us back underway. And the Bidgee Bulls bringing it back off their own 20-metre line. So the Newcastle side, the Rebels, Steve Kidd, of course, in charge this season. And of course, the under-16 side was announced to go over to New Zealand in a few weeks' time. And we'll read that out at half-time, actually. I know Jock Anderson has informed the families and the players who's heading across there for the under-16. So that's a phenomenal effort for those young fellas to be able to give the opportunity to go across to New Zealand in the coming weeks. So back there comes this time now to the Bulls. 35 metres out from the Rebels' goal line. This is Masters. He's from the Tumut Blues. Extremely dedicated, I believe, to his gym and his team and to the game of rugby league. This is Macaulay. He's from the Junee Diesels. 12 metres out from the line, looking for their second point of the match. This is Ashcroft. The Rebels forcing him back into the field of play. Back it comes to Macaulay. They're up quickly on Hands. He puts in a little chip. Can he get it back? No, he can't. So goal line drop out here for the Rebels. We've had 7 minutes of the match. Bidgee lead by 6 points to 0. Well, it's a fantastic day here in the Mudgee region. Big crowd expected as we count down to the Tier 2 and the Tier 1 grand final. And Shane Richardson has kindly joined us in the box here at Mudgee. Afternoon to you, Shane.
G'day, mate.
Mate, so far we've been witnessing some very talented players that no doubt will go on to bigger and further things in the game of rugby league.
Yeah, mate, it's great. It's a magnificent oval. It's the first time I've been out here. Sensational setup, and the football in the 16s was outstanding. The 18s looks to carry on with it.
So this is Lister looking for their second try of the grand final here in the under-18s. The Rebels getting a defensive workout here. Back to Smith. He sees the line in front of him. Can't quite go all the way. Plays the football back. 2 metres out from the Newcastle goal line. Great pass. And here is a try to their charging lock in Hayden Cowld from Cootamundra. So 8 minutes gone. Bidgee lead by 10 points to 0. Well, a massive gap. And Newcastle just couldn't quite scramble there, Shane.
Yeah, they're well organised. The halfback's playing really well for them, and they look pretty well set up. The coach has done a good job.
Mate, you mentioned this is your first time to this facility. First class, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's outstanding. I mean, the surface leaves some of the NRL grounds for dead, to be totally honest. Probably a lot more being played on them, but it's superb out there. Great day, great setup. Dressing rooms are outstanding, so it's a tribute to country football and particularly to Bidgee Council.
And a great precinct as well, surrounding
Yeah,
soccer fields and cricket fields.
And particularly the wineries. There's very nice out there as well. So it's very enjoyable. Best of both worlds, sports and booze. So it's really good value.
Yeah, they got great grapes in this part of the world.
Yeah, well, I'm staying on one of the wineries. So it couldn't be a better place, really. So woke up this morning to the chooks and the crows. So it was a very, very good start to the day. But this, as I said, it looks like a fantastic day for football. And I'm looking forward to the first great classes later on. And we had Joe Picker with me at South Sydney last year, so the Picker family will be out there today, and they'll probably bring half the crowd, actually, so it should be a great afternoon for football.
Here's the kick. The try is converted. So we've got 25 minutes remaining in the first half. Brilliant start for the Bidgee Bulls over the Newcastle Rebels. They lead by 12 points to 0. It was a fairly chilly start, though. Those Roosters would have been cock-a-doodle-looing early in the morning.
Yeah, no, it was about 2 or 3 degrees or something when the guy knocked on the door this morning, so I'm not used to that. I come from country Queensland, so from a place called Cunnamulla, and I don't think it ever gets down to below 21 there, so it's a bit different coming to Bidgee, I can assure you.
And, of course, we're expecting a top temperature as the day unfolds. Nice and warm, 13 degrees, Shane. So
magnificent. I'll be out there sunbaking.
Temperature.
Got the Speedos along, so we're looking forward to that.
So the Bulls through Bramich. He's got a scholarship, actually, Shane, with the Bulldogs back up there in Sydney.
Yeah, you'd find most of these players would be under contract or on the verge of contracts. I see a lot of player managers around today, so they'll be hunting them down.
And, of course, the under-16's already selected, and we'll go through that side at half-time. He'll be going across the ditch to New Zealand in a few weeks' time. So a great moment for those younger guys. Last tackle now here for the Bidgee Bulls. Off the boot there of their half-back in Hands, who's also the captain. The ball may trickle over the dead ball line. But just getting back to the ground here, Shane, a phenomenal effort from the curator. Exceptional playing surface, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it is. It's also the Canberra, the way, like we had lots of rain here last night and yesterday, and you would never even know it out there today. And so it's that the drainage is obviously excellent as well. So he's done a fantastic job. He'll be the SCG next, so the way he's going. So he's done a really good job. Like most groundkeepers, they probably don't let anybody on it for the rest of the week. By the way, so they're very protective. The greenkeepers, I can tell you.
And of course, this is the home ground of the local rugby league side here, the Bidgee Dragons, I believe. So, what a venue they have to play.
Yeah, they do. It's outstanding. As I said, I think a lot of the NRL clubs will be very, very. Would love to be playing on this sort of surface every week, on training on it as well, because it's just outstanding. It's a great hit too. Yeah,
on Bryce Kennedy, who's the son of ex-Knight in Canberra, Ben Kennedy.
Oh, is he really? I didn't realise that. Benny will be here then.
He will be.
Got away from his Mexican restaurant chain to come here today, probably. So.
Maybe he's brought lunch for everybody.
Or at least some Coronas. One of the two.
This is Ashcroft. He's from the Wagga Kangaroos. He's actually spent the summer, I believe, with the Sydney Roosters.
Oh, yep. As I said, a lot of these players would have association with Sydney clubs. You can see the way they're playing. They're outstanding, actually.
So for our fans here, Shane, what is the pathway these days from here? I mean, where do they go to from here? Obviously, representative selection, they go up through the ranks and...
Yeah, look, the unfortunate part of pathways for country football is that they continually produce this sort of great player. I've got a firm belief that these players should be staying and playing in their own districts. But unfortunately, the way the system works at the moment, a lot of them come down and play far too early in Sydney and with Sydney clubs and NRL, in Queensland as well, rather than staying with their families in their homes. And I think that's the way they can improve, and I think the game's got to do more to make sure they do stay in their homes.
Well, it's there from Shane Richardson in our Country Rugby League commentary box here for the under-18s on AAMI Grand Final Day for 2015. If you just clicked onto the coverage, in the under-16s, the Greater Northern Tigers got up by 30 points to 20. And it's interactive here in the Country Rugby League commentary box too, Shane.
Yeah.
Via the Twitter universe.
Oh, fantastic.
You can get in contact with us, folks, by hashtagging Country Championship Finals. And if you have a question for anybody in the commentary team throughout the day, post your question and we'll endeavour to tackle the answer to the best of our knowledge. This is Campbell, straight through the middle of the field. Comes down to Smith. Can he reach out? A metre away. Looking to strike here. The Newcastle Rebels. They spin it to the right-hand side of the field. Wright's got a great ball to Hocking. He reaches out and scores the first try to the Rebels. Well, he's from the West Rosellas in the Newcastle Rugby League competition. He's only played rugby league for 2 seasons, it's my understanding. He relocated from Western Australia to Perth. And what a moment for him. 12 months later to be here on AAMI Country Championship Grand Final Day here in the under-18s. So he started Newcastle's comeback. 12 points to 4 as we go through to the replay here, Shane. And a great hole bust. And we went straight to the gap Hocking. And over he went for Newcastle's first try of the day.
Yeah, the Newcastle pack's a very big pack. They ground their way down near the try line and look very dangerous when they get there, and the halves got room to move. So it's going to be a good 12-6. It's going to be a great game. It's interesting, the great Twitter debate. My media manager got me a Twitter account 6 years ago now, so I'm a new age guy. It's Richo22. Unfortunately, I haven't used it in 6 years, but I'm sure at some stage when I'm sort of on my deathbed or something, I might unleash it to somebody who would sort of announce my funeral myself or something, you know?
The love of social media in 2015. Digital technology. And, of course, that's taking it to the next level, of course, digital technology, being able to live stream games such as this. The New South Wales Rugby League.
Yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity. The point about this is that throughout the world we're able to stream rugby league now, and a lot of the smaller areas, smaller countries, people are really excited about the game when they were able to sort of get it streamed, live streamed.
Well, that's it. You know, it doesn't just bring the players together; it brings communities.
It does.
And the world together to bring a small place. And of course, live streaming. New South Wales Harold Matts was live streamed this year, and the SG Ball. Then we had the state championship, which was on the website as well, and now the Country Rugby League are getting behind the idea of it as well. And
I think there'll be a lot of people in Romania and Botswana would love to be here today after hearing this call. So, your fantastic voice and the way it's going over, they'll be very excited about the place, mate. You know?
Maybe, Shane, you might get a few extra followers yourself on Twitter after this yourself.
All I've got to do is turn it on some stage. I don't know what you do to do.
You just got to find the button.
Yeah.
But that's the hard part about smartphones.
It is.
Nobody knows where the button is. Unbelievable.
I will get the king of Twitter next to me, and Terry Liberopoulos, so he will unleash it later on.
Oh, Terry knows.
He's tweeting now. I can see over on my left-hand side, furiously.
Of course, Terry Liberopoulos was in the commentary box with me at the Melbourne Cricket Ground on Wednesday night as we telecasted the under-18s. That was a phenomenal match as well. Queensland winning that match in the dying minutes through their halfback in Fayud. But right now, we've got another blockbuster coming up. This is match 2. Bidgee leading by 12 points to 4 over Newcastle. Not too many penalties in the match, but we were able to see one there coming up to the Bulls, and they take the tap and cross the halfway line here, Shane. And, of course, that's their number 12, their tough, hard-working back rower in Dustin Lister. He's up from Belconnen. Now this is Masters. He's from the Tumut Blues. He's down to be tackled 30 metres out from the Newcastle line. Back to Lister. He gets the legs pumping before he's back slammed there from Keenan. So the Bulls leading Newcastle by 12 points to 4 here in the under-18s on Grand Final Day. Back to the captain. This is Cameron Hands, key organiser and phenomenal communicator Now to Macaulay. Drop down there from Birch. So it's the last tackle now for the Bulls. Look for the crossfield kick. Here it comes off the boot of hands. Testing kick for Newcastle. They've diffused the situation. They've got a penalty anyway, Shane. 10 metres out from their own goal line.
Yeah, it's a great game. Very little drop ball and doing credit to the coaches.
Mate, on personal level and professional level, how's everything going for Shane Richardson?
Yeah, very, very good, mate. Obviously, we're working towards a strategy for the whole of the game for the next long period of time, next 20 years or so. So we're very heavily involved in that and leading into the television negotiations as well. So it's a very busy time at the NRL.
Of course, the current contract with Channel 9, who have been the broadcasters of our rugby league competition since 1992. So when are the TV?
End of 17.
End of 17. So we've got 2 more seasons to go after this one. So that'll be an interesting period. Time flies. It just seems like the other day when you were negotiating the current deal.
Yeah, it was actually.
This is Hosking, the son of former Manly back rower in David Hosking.
Oh, the mule.
Yeah. So a lot of the players out here have come from some brilliant pedigrees in rugby league, haven't they?
Yeah.
We're going to have a goal line drop out here, Shane.
He's got longer hair than his dad had. He's got a little bit leaner too. He's a great player, Hoskins.
Yeah.
He was tough.
Big name in rugby league.
Yeah, a crowd favourite. He took it up so hard and played the game so hard but fair, you know.
That's what you expect from a rugby league player,
Yeah,
no doubt.
Especially a country rugby league player.
They breed them tough out this way.
They do, mate. They do breed them tough.
And, of course, the City versus Country match a few years ago was played at this venue at Glenwillow Park, and they chocked. The ground was at full capacity that day. And no doubt, as we build towards the Tier 2 and Grand Final of the Tier 1, the grandstand and the surrounding hills will be near full as well. Back it comes this time to Smith. He's from the Curry Bulldogs. He's a third-generation Bulldogs player from Curry, actually, Kyle Smith. Now this is Campbell from the Maitland Pickers. Plays a bit of junior representative football for the Pickers as the Rebels are close to the line. They're bashing and barging their way over, but they're held up. So no try for Newcastle. So close yet so far there, Shane.
Yeah, it was. Once again, their forwards are dominating in the middle of the ruck when they get their opportunities, and we went very close then. I wouldn't be surprised if an inside ball created something shortly.
So it comes back across the right. He's going to kick out wide, looking for Guest and his winger.
Oh, good try.
And Matt Cooper has scored for the Rebels. Now, Matt Cooper, a member of the Newcastle Knights, 2014 Harold Matthews Grand Final winning side. Last year, Shane, I don't know if you know this, but he scored 14 tries in 12 games, and he bagged 6 of those tries in one match against St George.
Yeah, no, I saw him play against South Sydney last year. He's outstanding.
And this is it on the replay coming up, thanks to the Country Rugby League. Just take a look at this. Pinpoint kick there. I thought for a moment Callan Guest might have went high.
The winger might have left a bit early for Bidgee, like about an hour.
He knew what he had to do, didn't he? And he came down with an absolute classic try. And Jaden Wright now has the opportunity from the Maitland Pickers in the junior ranks up there. Right out on the western touchline. 10 metres in from touch. Maybe knock off about 3. Try 7 or so metres in from touch as Newcastle looking to convert the try. Here he comes now. Jaden Wright looks okay off the boot. It's coming back around from the sideline. What an absolute ripper.
Great kick.
Brilliant kick. He's brought his kicking boots with him today. Jaden Wright from Maitland. So Newcastle back into the match. 22 minutes gone. Bidgee lead 12 points to 10. Well, the temperature, it was, as we mentioned at the top of the program, it was fairly chilly here in Mudgee this morning, up around 3 or 4 degrees. But we've just had word before you came into the box, Shane. We're nudging 9 degrees right now, so we're slowly getting there.
Firing up, isn't it? You know?
It is.
I have to take my 3 jackets off shortly.
Well, and your thermals.
Yeah. That's not thermals, that's just fat.
Oh, there's a few Burger Kings around here, I'll tell you on the
I'm,
way in.
I'm about to unleash myself. All around the world, I judge the quality of a ground by the
Yeah.
quality of their hot dogs. So I'm about to unleash myself shortly and find out how good a ground
Are
this
you
really
telling
is.
me you've been here for an hour and you haven't had a hot dog?
No, well, it was a bit soon after breakfast. It's after the full mixed grill. It's a bit difficult to throw a hot dog down afterwards. I want a protein diet.
It works well, I believe.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it?
As the Rebels now received a penalty here on their own 40-metre line. And they'll shoot it into touch. Again off the boot of Jaden Wright. So the pendulum, is it about to swing? But I guess it's not as cold as Hull.
No, well, nothing was as cold as Hull. The Humber had that was the coldest days of my life, and Hull was ridiculous.
How did the mixed grill go over there?
Oh, mate, they don't really know what meat is over there, so it's sort of, unless it's got a sausage involved, it's not going to be there. So
And they give pumpkin to the cows, don't
it must
they?
be the only place in the world where it's like -7 degrees and they have cold pies. I could never quite get the grips with that. But they love a buffet over there. I love a nice buffet, but well, great time, great people. They love their rugby league, but they certainly know it. And I remember a lot of the times they used to, just stand on the hill with no shirts on just to show they could do it and how tough they were. But I wasn't part of that group, so.
The ball's on the ground here, scooped away from Wright. He finds Hocking and stabilises the play for the Rebels. 12 metres out from the Bulls' goal line. 10 minutes to go in the match in the first half. Back to Johnson.
He's causing them trouble, Johnson.
Now he's the son of the 1983 New South Wales State of Origin forward, Lindsay Johnson, and he has scored 10 to the left-hand side of the post, which puts Newcastle in front for the first time by 14-12.
Yeah, once again, their forwards just pouring down the middle of the ruck, and Johnson was just too strong near the line. He's a big lump of a thing. Looks like he's 32, not 18. He's a big boy, isn't he?
Sure is. I beat him tough in Newcastle.
And big.
And thick.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that.
No. I'm from Newcastle.
Yeah. I wouldn't be going back there tonight if I were you.
Maybe not. Mudgie's looking good. Where's that vineyard? Where's that mixed grill?
Yeah.
Where's that smorgasbord?
Yeah, it's on the go.
Here's the kick now from Jaden Wright. An easier one from his last attempt. And makes no mistake. So the Rebels leading into half-time by 16 points to 12. And, of course, the coach of the Newcastle Rebels is Steve Kidd, who was the first-grade coach to the Cessnock Goannas in the Newcastle Rugby League competition last year. He ended up taking the Cessnock Goannas to the grand final. Unfortunately, they went down to the Western Suburbs Rosellas in that match. But now he's assistant coach with the Central Newcastle Butcher Boys up in the Newcastle Rugby League competition. And, of course, for our Newcastle listeners, the coverage of the Newcastle Rugby League will be back live and exclusive tomorrow. We're going to do South versus Maitland if the rain stays off. Councils are pretty touchy and going with their grounds in Newcastle, so we'll have to wait till probably 9 a.m. to see if we're going to be broadcasting that match. As we see now the Bulls charging. This is Thompson. He's close to the line. He's held up, Shane.
Yeah, it is. Great defence on the line then.
So 8 minutes remaining as we count down towards half-time here. Thompson again. Tough front rower. He gets better as the game gets tougher. This is Masters. The big prop. Playing it back to Graham. Giving it away to Shields. The 12 is lifted. This is Lister from the West Balconnen squad. He's on the last tackle. Look for the kick. Here it is. Came off Newcastle. And the referee calls it back here. 5 metres out from the Rebels line. And he's going to give the scrum here, it looks like, back to the Bidgee Bulls.
Yeah, it looks that way. Bit of trivia about the Western Suburbs Rosellas. Were you aware that the great Greg Inglis had a season at the Western Suburbs Rosellas on his way to becoming a Queenslander?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Greg Inglis. That's a stat.
Under 15, mate. I know
Under
all about
15s?
you, yeah.
Of course. He went to Hunter Sports, didn't he?
He did.
He did. Well, they'll be looking to be another Greg Inglis out here today, and no doubt in years to come, they'll achieve that
No, I think he's a once in a. I think Greg Inglis was once described to me by Wayne Bennett as a once-in-a-lifetime athlete, and I think it's pretty close to a point. He's a wonderful athlete, not just a rugby league player. Could have been a great cricketer, swimmer. He wins every swimming race at South. He's quite a freak, really, especially if there's money involved. He's hard to beat when the money's on the table.
Of course, Greg Inglis featured prominently at the Melbourne Cricket Ground the other night, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a great game.
Had a massive game for Queensland.
Not bad for a washed-up footballer. But it's funny, you can't believe everything you read in the papers, can you? It's just, I don't know, it's a strange thing, though.
It is. Do they call that media?
Yeah, they think they do.
They think they do. As the Newcastle side banging the ball downfield away from the fullback in James Smith. Ball might sit up in goal here.
Great kick. Magnificent kick.
Defence coming through from the Rebels, of course, led there by McKinney. Again, featuring out of the Maitland Piggers squad. So we've got 7 minutes remaining in the first half. Newcastle have done tremendously well to claw their way back into this under-18s grand final. The Bidgee Bulls. It's in front of them, isn't it? To get themselves back into the contest. Of course, the under-16s. The Greater Northern Tigers defeated the Bulls by 30 points to 20 as they go over the halfway line, looking for support back on the infield. But Newcastle have to clean them up, so it's play on. And with the ball this time, it's Ashcroft. Bit scrappy here. Referee will put down a scrum 40 metres out. Thoughts about that one, Shane Richardson?
I think he was a bit lucky to get away with that. Looked to me if he knocked the ball down out of his hands. He didn't look square either. But anyway, refs have an outstanding game up to that point.
Yeah.
You can't get everyone right.
They've done a tremendous job throughout the country rugby league championships over the last 4-5 weeks.
Oh,
the referees.
Referees do a great job right across the board.
And no doubt,
unsung heroes of the game.
Yeah, they sure are. And just like the players, they'll be looking to further their own careers, I guess, down the track in the NRL system as well.
Yeah, we need more and more of these quality young referees coming through because, it just puts pressure on the referees above them and makes for a much better competition for jobs, really. So,
this is Kyle Smith, Diamondite fullback, live wire.
Yeah.
Look at him go down to the 10-metre line. Cut down. Newcastle, 5 minutes out from the break.
Got a Josh Dugan look about him, a fullback, hasn't he?
Does. This is Birch sending it back this time to Campbell. He's close to that goal line. He's on his back, a metre away. Cal from Cootamundra gets off him. The Rebels bashing and barging their way close. I think that might have went forward. Has he given an obstruction call here? He has, I think you'll find. An obstruction here, Shane.
I was obstructed by the post in front of me. I actually didn't see the play. It was a great move by the post. I couldn't see it at all.
Well, they know how to put the post into this stadium.
Great stadium, except for that post.
No, phenomenal facility. Credit to everybody at the council.
It is a great facility.
And, of course, another exceptional facility in country rugby league is where the City Country is going to be played next year in Tamworth.
Tamworth, magnificent.
Scully Park.
I think they stole a bit of it. I'll come here and have a close look at here, actually. So it's fantastic that they're building these sort of stadiums for rugby league in the country. It's fantastic.
Yeah, country rugby league, alive and well, that's for sure, with the support of the local governments and infrastructure companies. This is Smith.
He's quick. Still going.
Still going. Taking the tackle there of McKinney. 10 metres away from the Newcastle goal line. To the left-hand side. This is a great try. This is Lister. He crashes over. 16 all, kick to come, 4 minutes out from the break.
I'll tell you what, you wouldn't see a better half of young football than we've just seen here today. It's 16 all, kicks the goal, goes to 18-16, but it's been outstanding skills. That was just sheer pace that scored that try.
Great talent on display. We've been here obviously covering the 16s before and just watching the talented players, exceptional pace. Yep. They're quick and they know their business. This is the lead-up play to the try. Look at this run here from James Smith from the Cootamundra Bulldog. Try to get on the outside of Kyle Smith and luckily Musgrove came across and Smith again the fullback taking down James Smith, the fullback for the Bulls, and then the play just continued to the edge of the field. And who was there to finishing it off? It was their tough, hard-working back rower in Dustin Lister from West Belconnen.
Great combination, isn't it? Cootamundra to West Belconnen. It says everything about the game, really.
Well, big moment for the guys down in that part of the world. The Bidgee region, Shane, featuring prominently across all fixtures here today.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, the Bidgee region goes into Canberra as well, and obviously Riverina, so they've got every game covered here today.
No, it has. It's a great cross-section of the great clubs in the country football.
And, of course, Dave Skinner's the CRL regional manager down there, and a big hello to everybody that is taking the coverage down in that part of the world today. I think it's also going through the local Fairfax newspaper down there as well, so you can get your coverage from everywhere.
I mean, you've got to take your hat off to the Country Rugby League to organise 50,000 people who play in the game in the country, which as much as plays in the city, by the way. It's quite a phenomenon when you consider the spread and where it's at. So, just today, everything's so well, everything's going like clockwork. It's, just a tribute to them. They've done it, and all over the place. I mean, we have complaints when we go from Cronulla to Manly and organising things, but, look at what they're doing here from one area to another, Tamworth to West Belconnen to wherever it is. It's fantastic stuff.
And, of course, the CEO of the Country Rugby League is Terry Quinn, and John Anderson, Shock Anderson, the chairman of the Rugby League in the CRL world, is also here today, and a few other prominent NRL guests like yourself, Shane, have come along for the ride.
Yeah, it was a bit of a rocky ride. I wrote my car off on the way up yesterday.
Tell me more.
No, my wife and I were in an accident outside of Penrith. The car was written off and smashed, and she actually got cut out of the car by the jaws of life. So it was very fortunate that we're here today. So it must have meant to be, I'd say. Otherwise, we would be dead, I think.
Mate, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tragedy, but we shook it off, got the x-rays done, and she's got a bit of bruises, and we're very fortunate. It's a great advertisement for seat belts and airbags, because without them, we'd both be dead yesterday. So it was, for anybody who doesn't want to put a seatbelt on, all I can tell you, make sure you do, because it could make a difference to your life. So it was a big trip up here yesterday. It took about 8 hours after we hired another car and got on the road again from Penrith and got up here, so it was good. I thought I was going to have to come up in the Datsun 120Y at one stage, but they found another one for me. Bit hard to get me into a Datsun 129. You need a Kato crane, but it's one of those things.
Mate, good thing is that you're alive and well and here today in the Country Rugby League commentary box, that's for sure. Yep. Well, Shane Richardson in the box, we appreciate your time in the first half, mate, and you have a great day here, and we'll catch up throughout the coming months and hours ahead.
Yeah, look forward to it, mate. Thanks for your time.
Good on
you.
Shane Richardson there. Great to have him in the Country Rugby League commentary box. As we go to the break, Bidgee leading over Newcastle by 18 points to 16. So we'll hear from our sponsors and come back here for the second half. Can Newcastle come away with the grand final, or will the Bidgee Bulls show all their class and determination? A break and back to the second half.
Neil, you're not that high.
Pretty high.
No, it's not, Neil.
It is.
The cat did it.
That's true.
Mate, stay calm. We do this all the time.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. You'll be fine.
Take your feet back!
Sometimes only a real person will understand.
Hello, Amy.
Hi. I've been in a bit of an accident.
Do you need any emergency services?
No, I think we've got that covered.
Luckily, you can speak to someone at AAMI 24/7.
Real guys, real sport. Bar TV.
When I played professional footy, it was all about the training and what I ate. Champions don't run on junk food. So if you want to get the most out of your game and your life, you've got to put the right stuff in. Don't undo all your hard work with what you eat and drink. And after a game, think fruit and water. When the whistle blows, make sure you finish with the right stuff.
Authorised
Neil, you're not that high.
Pretty high.
No, it's not, Neil.
It is.
The cat did it.
That's true.
Mate, stay calm. We do this all the time.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. You'll be fine.
Take your feet back!
Sometimes only a real person will understand.
Hello, Amy.
Hi. I've been in a bit of an accident.
Do you need any emergency services?
No, I think we've got that covered.
Luckily, you can speak to someone at AAMI 24/7.
Real guys, real sport. Bar TV.
When I played professional footy, it was all about the training and what I ate. Champions don't run on junk food. So if you want to get the most out of your game and your life, you've got to put the right stuff in. Don't undo all your hard work with what you eat and drink. And after a game, think fruit and water. When the whistle blows, make sure you finish with the right stuff.
Authorised by the New South Wales Government, Sydney.
And back here for the second half from Glen Willow Stadium here in beautiful Bidgee. What we might do, ladies and gentlemen, we might just quickly go through the Country 16's team, which has been selected by the chairman of the CRL, Chock Anderson, earlier this morning. And this team will go over to feature in New Zealand. So the Country 16 this way. Bronson Meehan from the Albury Thunder at fullback. Mark Fogarty from Singleton. Jai Doolan from Cowra. Themthick from the West Balconnen side. Alan Lockwood has also been selected. He's from East Coast. James Bradley from Singleton. Max Brewery. Bradley Koust. Kane McDermott. Tyson Hodges. Jack Patterson. Luke Macbeth. Zach Sadler. The interchange bench looks this way. Teague Wilton. Alec Cocking. Tom Barker. And Jess Howard. And of course that match will be over in New Zealand in coming weeks, and of course their coach will be Andrew Ryan, who was in the commentary box earlier on today here on the Country Rugby League live stream as the Rebels held up over the line. So no change on the scoreboard here. So they'll have the other opportunity now to play the ball back. And taking it forward is the 15 in Murphy. He's from central Newcastle. 10 metres away from the line. Trailing by 2 Newcastle. This is Hocking losing the ball. Right on the goal line of the Bidgee Bulls. So the coach, of course, is Steve Kidd. As we mentioned, everybody back in Newcastle knows Steve Kidd. Former coach of the Cessnock Goannas, now in an assistant coaching role with Central Newcastle. And a lot of people are saying Newcastle's biggest weapon ahead of this match against Bidgee might not be the players, but in fact their coach in Steve Kidd. That was the opinion coming out from the week from Brad Morgan, who has watched the side transform through their run to the decider here today. And I've got to say, they're down by 2, but the side has really risen to the occasion. Let's see if they can defend here and trap the Bulls well inside their own 40-metre line. I know Steve Kidd is a very capable coach, and he's got a fantastic encyclopedia brain of rugby league. As the ball goes downfield, going away is Kyle Smith. As I said, a third-generation Curry Bulldog player. Big name in the game of Newcastle Rugby League, of course, is Smith. And he'll no doubt go on to bigger and better things in the local competition as he goes through the ranks of being a rugby league player. I know he's got the determination to go as far as he can in the game of league. This is Musgrove. There's a very strong Canberra influence in this Bidgee under-18 side with the likes of centre Callum Greenwood and Jesse Smith-Shields and prop Daniel Kerr. And speaking of one of those guys, they've got the ball carrier from the Rebels into their possession here, just short of the halfway line. So the Rebels take it forward. This is their 8 in Casson. Comes from Lakes United in the real NRL in Newcastle. Of course, when the NRL pinched the Newcastle Rugby League title back in the 90s, Newcastle Rugby League decided to put real in front of it. And my co-commentator, he's made the trip up from the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Great to have him back, this time in the Country Rugby League commentary box. Terry Liberopoulos, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to everyone. And what a great facility we have here. It's the first time I've been here. I've been here before to Bidgee at the old ground at Jubilee Oval, but this ground is superb. They've got a lot of grounds around it to play soccer, league. Every sport's covered here.
Yes, it's a phenomenal precinct, isn't it, Terry? You've got the cricket fields, you've got the soccer fields, and of course, this will become an iconic venue for the people out here in the West to love and enjoy like they have since it was built. A little bit of indecision at the back from the Rebels between Musgrove and Smith. Smith finally has the football. Thought for a moment they might have even clashed heads.
They're playing a bit of panic football there, Newcastle. I mean, they're only behind by 2 points. There's plenty of time to go. They just need to settle down.
So Jaden Wright, ball in hand, looking to bang it in towards the camera area here at Glenwillow Park. We'd just like to thank the major sponsors at this moment for the Country Rugby League, AAMI, Victoria Bidder, and the Holiday Inn for their continued support of Country Rugby League, and also the Mid-Western Regional Council and the Mudgee Dragons for their support in hosting today's Championship finals, and the curator who has done an outstanding job getting this playing surface in prestige condition. Got here yesterday afternoon, Terry, and had a walk of the ground. There was a few showers coming across the ground. It looked a little bit wet, and was wet and soggy in patches, but in the last 24 hours, we've had the super soaper out there, whatever it's called, from the SCG, and you wouldn't even thought that the showers were here only 48 hours ago, would you?
Well, I wasn't too pleased when I was speaking to you yesterday when you said it's raining here and it's about minus 14 degrees, but it's turned out a beautiful day. The sun's out. I think we're up to about 12 degrees now.
Yeah.
It's very balmy. I think people are walking around with the T-shirts now.
This is a summer day here in Mudgee. That's for sure. Certainly the locals customised to these tough conditions out here in the winter. Very bad fog as we awoke earlier this morning, but that's cleared up to a brilliant day. Here's the kick. It's gone out on the full though, Terry. So change over back on the 40.
You're talking about the cold weather. I mean, Shane, I was there, went in hole a couple of times, and it was absolutely freezing. But no, it wasn't freezing like Scotland. It was absolutely about minus 10. And of course, there was one local walking around with a T-shirt.
And that was not you.
No, I had about 14 jumpers on.
Well, that's the thing over there in the northern England. I guess toughness may have come out of that part of the world for everybody else to copy. They breed them tough over there, don't they? Especially in Manchester. Backer comes this time to Murphy. Was over there for the World Cup final in 2013. Had the chance to call that final between Australia and New Zealand at Old Trafford. I've got to say, walking the streets of Manchester, a few of them definitely give you a good scare. Here's the lost ball here, 21 metres out from the Bulls' goal line.
Yeah, poor pass there. Here one of their own players. Like I said, they just, got to settle down. They're still in with a great chance. It's only 2 points.
So the coach of the Bulls is Tim Humphreys. been with the squad for a number of years now, under different age categories with the Bidgee Bulls. And a phenomenal effort for everybody who is down in the Bidgee region. And of course the Bidgee region also takes in Canberra. The Bidgee region featuring in every match here on Country Finals Day this year, because they couldn't quite get the result they were looking for in the first match, going down to the Tigers by 30 points to 20. But so far they're up by 2 over Newcastle. Riverina will be going around in the next match. They'll be taking on the Greater Northern Tigers. That's at 1:15. And then the big one, the AAMI Country Tier 1 Grand Final between Canberra and Illawarra, scheduled for 3 o'clock today. So a big day for rugby league here in Mudgee. As the referee here giving the ball back away to the Rebels on their own 20-metre line. And it's a big weekend for everybody here in Mudgee, not just the Country Rugby League on here today. This is the prestigious event, no doubt, but couldn't get accommodation if you even wanted to. Last night here in Mudgee, hotels were booked out. The big firemen's concerts on here too. They have a fire.
Where did you sleep? Did you sleep in the car?
In the cabin next to the car. Yeah. No, well, luckily enough, sorted, but I know a lot of the teams here today had to come from the likes of towns such as Bathurst and Galconnen in the surrounding areas, and a few of them even had to come as far across from Dubbo.
What did you say? What else was on? Some fireman.
The firemen's conference. Now, what they do at a firemen's conference, I'm not sure.
That was my next question.
But coming in here, I thought the town was being evacuated. All these fire trucks in the area. And no, Santa Claus wasn't on the fire truck giving out the lollies.
Could be a fiery conference, that one.
Could well be. The extinguisher probably getting a workout one way or another. Here's a forward pass here, Terry Liberopoulos. 10 metres out from the Bulls line.
Yeah, a late call from the touchy there, but definitely went forward.
Yeah, definitely went forward. Of course, our touch judges assisted our man in the middle there. Of course, our referee in this clash, a name well known to the Country Rugby League Referees Association in Jake Sutherland. So we see the Bidgee Bulls coming away with the ball. Of course, credit to everybody at the Bidgee Bulls as well. As I mentioned, manager Paul Strutt, trainers today are Tony Barber and David Rush and Stuart Rose, all pitching in. And this will help their team's cause. They're going to give a penalty away here, Newcastle, on the Bulls' 40-metre line. So a nice crowd building in time for our Tier 2 Grand Final, which is coming up next here on Country Rugby League. Of course, the pictures coming out of Bar TV for this one. So the Bulls, Terry, rampaging their way down inside the 30-metre line of the Rebels. Not wanting to go to ground, are they?
They're looking very confident, playing smart football.
This is Cootamundra's James Smith, one of 8 players who are in the successful 16 side from 2013, going around here today for the Bidgee Bulls. Comes back this time to Smith Shields, goes wide again to James Smith. He's driven sideways there from Central's Dom Murphy. Now this is Humphreys, looking for support on his right-hand edge, but goes into the ground here on the last tackle. Look for the crossfield kick. They may even throw it if they can back themselves. Oh, juggled, but lost there from Connor McCauley, who's from the Junee Diesels. A real danger, isn't he, on their right-hand edge?
Well, they had a great chance there because there was a lot of room there for them to score, but unfortunately, McCauley couldn't hang on to the ball.
So this game, not much in it. 22 minutes to go. We've had 13 minutes of the second half between the Newcastle Rebels and the Bidgee Bulls, coming out of Glenwillow Park here on a brilliant day for rugby league. 12 degrees. Probably seems a lot warmer than that for Casson, who hit that ball up, and Ike likewise there for Kennedy, who's been driven sideways on the halfway line. They were going to kick now on the halfway line off the boot of Jaden Wright. Ball going down to the 10-metre zone, and back there it's James Smith again, trying to beat Kyle Smith from his Curry Junior club, and also in there was Braden Musgrove. So the Bidgee Bulls, credit to everybody, as I mentioned, if you just tune into the coverage, a region that has done it tough in the last 10 years, but 2015, to be able to get 4 sides through to grand final day is something that the association is proud of, and I know that speaking to David Skinner and Daryl Kelly, who threw a lot of money into the Gold Coast Titans, comes out of Wagga Wagga, a local businessman down there, and he's also a developer as far as property goes, and he was instrumental, Terry, in getting McDonald's Park, the venue down in Wagga Wagga, to what it's living up to be today. Of course, they had that old Eric Weisel Oval down there, which was run down, and they knew the Wagga Rugby League Association, if they were going to bring top-class rugby league back to the region, they had to have a premium sporting complex, and Daryl Kelly put a lot of money into that facility out of his own back pocket. And of course, in recent years, the hill has been moulded in as well. They went for a long time just with the western touchline and a small hill on the eastern side, but they've been able to maximise the northern and the southern end of the hills, and that was on display in the Country Rugby League City versus Country match only a few months ago. So the region's going well, just like this man with the ball. This is Bryce Kennedy giving it back to Murphy. He's claimed 2 metres away from the Bidgee Bulls line. Back then out to Wright. Away to Birch. You can't miss him, can you? Hair flying around. Reminds you of an old or a younger Nathan Brown. There's a chance for Newcastle out wide. They go for the try line and they're over. Matt Cooper. Try to the Rebels. Well, he was a member of the Newcastle 2014 Harold Matthews Cup Grand Final side, and I said to Shane Richardson early on in the day, he scored 14 tries that year in 12 games, and he picked up 6 tries against the Dragons that year as well. But maybe that's the try that puts the Hunter region together as one, taking them to the lead by 2 with the kick to come. Here's the replay.
Yeah, good work there from dummy half from the second rower, Tyler Lee Prince Campbell, and then their winger, Matt Cooper. He had a bit of work to do, stepped inside the opposition and was able to get the ball over in the corner. And that's what they need in Newcastle. They were struggling a little bit. They were playing a bit of catch-up football, which they desperate football, which they didn't need to do. Now they're back in the lead, and they just got to take it slowly.
Well, the Rebels, the boys are certainly rising to the occasion here. And I know for a fact that they really respect and follow everything that their coach in Stephen Kidd has told them throughout the week. A great mentor, Steve Kidd. Here's the kick from the sideline. Well, they don't come any better than that. 22-18, Newcastle back in front.
Yeah, great kick there from Jaden Wright. And that could prove the difference in the end. So they need to get all the points.
Matt Harris, CEO of the Newcastle Rugby League. Spoke to him throughout the week. He's glued to his smart TV watching this one as well. Brought a new plasma throughout the week. Back it comes this time now to Keenan. Taking the ball down to his own 20-metre line here. Away this time to Kyle Smith. As I mentioned, a third-generation Curry player coming out of the Rebels here today to the halfway line. So it's 22 points to 18 here on the Bar TV scoreboard. Rebels kicking. Birch Can't get it back. Wright picks it up. He's got the try line in front of him. He's going to kick over the top. Guest coming through. But Ashcroft, he's got to get back into the field of play. He's in all sorts of trouble. Goal line drop out here for the Bidgee Bulls.
Look, a good pick up there from Jaden Wright. He had, we knew what he was trying to do, trying to get the ball towards the corner. Came off the side of the boot, but in the end, they got the next best result in a goal line dropout.
Good kick. On the bring back they come. This is a damaging run here. Of course, that was Bromwich. Down to the 15-metre line. Comes away now through Kennedy. Away to Guest. 4 metres away from the goal line. Leading by 22 points to 18. Birch. Wrapped up there from the captain of Cameron Hands from the Bulls. Back to Kennedy. Away to Johnson. He's close. Still going Johnson. Because the son of the 83 New South Wales State of Origin forward, Lindsay Johnson there. Last tackle now. Back to Birch. Away to Wright. Smith. Great ball and all tackle. Change over. Back to the Bulls. 5 metres out from their own goal line.
I think the best option there was probably to go for the kick there. There was just too many defenders there from Bidgee, and in the end, they held them out pretty good.
Terry Liberopoulos in the commentary box. We've been in a few commentary boxes over the last 8 weeks, haven't we, Terry? Of course, it all started with this SG Ball and the Harold Matts Grand Final at Belmore. At Leichhardt. Then we went to Belmore after that, didn't we, for something else? The state championships, of course, between Townsville and Cronulla. And then, of course, we travelled down to the Melbourne Cricket Ground on Wednesday night, and what a phenomenal match that was in the under-18s. The same age bracket of the guys that we're watching go around here between Newcastle and the Bulls. Under-18s from Queensland dominated that match towards the back end. And if Fayud's listening, you scored a sensational try for the Maroons. And I know the replay is available on the NRL.com website. And of course, the highlights are up as well on the QRL website and the New South Wales Rugby League website. So if you get a chance, make sure you check out that match. The game was played in front of over 40,000 as we built up to the ground record for State of Origin at the MCG later that night. Over 91,000 people ended up coming into the MCG to watch that one. And we go off to Lang Park in a few weeks' time for the decider. But this is the decider in the AAMI Country Rugby League Championships. As the Bulls now come onto the football, this is Lister. He rampages his way down towards the goal line. Newcastle now close to the line. They're on their goal line. Back it comes down to the Bulls. Which way will they come now? Back to Lister. Being picked up, but he's dropped the ball. But before he even dropped it, it was a forward pass. So the Rebels here dodging that bullet. And we've only got 14 minutes to go in the match here in the under-18s Rugby League Grand Final. And, of course, our big sponsors. We can't go without doing these types of coverages. And, of course, the Country Rugby League also have passed on our messages of thanks to AAMI and other major sponsors, of course, VB and the Holiday Inn. And we've got several guests as well throughout the day coming through to the Country Rugby League commentary box. And the Chief Operations Officer of the NRL is in the box right now. Susan Young, good morning to you.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here.
What a fantastic facility. It's first class, isn't it?
It's amazing. I grew up out near Lake Angelico, and so to see country facilities like this is really fantastic. The players are very, very fortunate, and I certainly know that hasn't happened without a lot of hard work from the people involved in this community, so well done.
And of course the local rugby league side here is the Mudgee Dragons, and this is their home ground, so What a moment it is for those guys every time they run out onto this first-class facility. It's just outstanding, as we keep on mentioning throughout the day. But the Bulls here trying to get back into the match, aren't they, Suzanne? They're down by 4. We might just stick with the action, then we'll come back and have a chat in a little bit more detail about how everything's going in the world of NRL. As you see now, Kerr, he manages to take the side inside the Newcastle Rebels territory. Comes back this time to Graham, giving it away now to their halfback, and he finds Greenwood, and he's going to be brought down 10 metres away from the Newcastle Rebels goal line. Now this is Thompson. He comes in and chimes in off the 14 position. Back it comes now to the middle of the field. They're going to kick off the boot of Hands. Can he get it back? He's claiming a try here, Hands. The captain may well just get it here. I think they'll give the try. A try coming up to the captain, Cameron Hands. Well, he's the key organiser and he's a sensational communicator. And he comes out of the Junee Diesels down there in the Riverina. And he's got us locked back up here on the CRL scoreboard by 22 all. Well, both of these games here, Suzanne, are really fascinating games and a lot of talent on display from both sides.
Absolutely, and it's great to see them out here competing today. And it was good to see didn't see much of the previous game. I was over helping with a Women in League workshop this morning, so we had that session, just over the way. And but I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of this game and maybe a game this afternoon. Yeah, fantastic. As we count down to our Tier 2 Rugby League Grand Final, which is our next match on the program, our third match at 1:15 between the Greater Northern Tigers and Riverina. And then, of course, the big one at 3 o'clock in the Tier 1 Grand Final between Illawarra and Canberra. I've always been fascinated to know the work that goes on behind the scenes at the NRL. I guess in your role as the Chief Operating Officer, just tell everybody what's it like, a day in the life of a Chief Operating Officer at the NRL. Well, it's always busy, I can tell you that. It depends on what the day is. So with State of Origin being on this week, I was heavily involved in that. So that meant doing things like risk briefings, working with the police ahead of the game, making sure that the event would run smoothly. So you start working on that months in advance. And as you get closer to the event, it involves everything from selling tickets through to, how the team's going to get there on the buses and do they have a police escort, all of those sorts of things.
Yeah, fascinating insight into how, I guess, the behind the scenes of a rugby league day develops. And as you mentioned, it just doesn't happen overnight. It takes months of preparation. And, of course, I was down at the Melbourne Cricket Ground on Wednesday night doing the NRL.com stream in the under-18s. And the crowd behaviour from high above was exceptional. 91,000 people there. It was a new record for a State of Origin, and I guess in the wash-up you must be very pleased with how everything went that night.
We were thrilled. I mean, it's always a good night. I can start to relax at about half-time once we've got everyone everyone through the gate and enjoying themselves.
The sausage rolls went down nice.
They did indeed.
Here's a bust. We'll get back to you. The Rebels are downfield. Look at them go. Oh, Cooper. He's put down there from Bremich. 12 metres out from the goal line. Back to right. Dummying his way under a Rebel defender. 8 metres away. Newcastle trailing by 2. Back to Casson. He's within 2 metres of the goal line. Still on to the left-hand side of the park. Newcastle through their 14. Birch surveying his options. Back to Kennedy. He's close. Kennedy might be held up. He is held up. So close yet so far for the Rebels. But they'll get the ball back as it was only the third or fourth tackle here. So a nail biter here in the under-18s AAMI Country Championship Grand Final. Back to right, kicking for himself. He'll score! What a play, what a try by the halfback in Jaden Wright. Well, that was class with a capital CLASS. You'd love to see players taking on the line themselves, kicking for themselves. And as you're about to see on the Bar TV Country Rugby League replay, as far as individualism, I guess that's a word. We just made it up, so it's a word now. That's as best as it can get. Just take a look at this on the replay coming up very shortly. Is the nice crowd starting to build here in Mudgee. Look at this. Classy from the Maitland Picker Jr. Kicking it, ricocheted off the AAMI goal pad. And over he went. Well, sometimes you create your own luck, as they say. It's the old cliche in rugby league, and that is demonstrated beautifully right there. He was right on the spot to get the try that puts the Rebels back into the front by 2 points. With a kick to come, well, he's looking now to convert his own try here. I'm joined in the box by the Chief Operating Officer of the NRL, in Susan Young, as the kick from Newcastle. Can they extend their margin to 4? We're about to find out right here. Looks good off the boot. It's a ripper. So Jaden Wright from the Maitland Pumpkin Pickers in the Newcastle Rugby League competition has put Newcastle back into the lead by 4 with 7 minutes remaining in the match. As I mentioned, Susan Young, Chief Operating Officer of the NRL, back in the commentary box with me. I guess preparation now starts for the grand final.
Absolutely. Well, we still have the State of Origin 3 coming up, so we'll be gearing up for that. What we do after each of the major events is do a debrief and work out how we can improve, what worked well, what can be improved, and then take those lessons learned into the next event that we put on. So still some work around that to do, and then of course gearing up to the grand final.
And as you said, you can't do this solely by yourself. It's great to see that it's like a football team, isn't it? You've got to work with all the major parties. Like as you mentioned the other day, you're working with the fire, the policemen, the media crews at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. So it's pretty much like a football team in yourself.
Absolutely, and everyone has their role to do and their responsibility, and they do it to the best of their ability. They certainly put in the hard yards as well, and then you hope for a successful outcome.
And as we mentioned, I guess it couldn't have been even more successful at the Melbourne Cricket Ground the other night. A phenomenal atmosphere, and the pre-match entertainment was something spectacular as well. They dimmed the lights at the cricket ground, and it was just like a dream.
Absolutely, that fireworks and laser show was incredible. Great for our sponsors. Certainly, they got good coverage out of that as well, being the highest rating game. So we're hoping that State of Origin 3 surpasses that, and that will be great to see.
Yeah, we go to Suncorp Stadium for the decider in a few weeks' time. I understand Suncorp Stadium, it's sold out for the decider?
It will be, absolutely. So I think we had something like 300 tickets or something yesterday. I'm sure they got snapped up. And that's always going to be the case when you've got a decider for your third game.
And of course, the curtain raiser to that match will be the under-20s between New South Wales and Queensland. I also understand that match will be live streamed on NRL.com from 6 o'clock from Suncorp Stadium that night as well. So we see now the Bidgee Bulls looking dangerous here. This is Graham. 5 minutes to go in the match. Trailing by 4. Back to Thompson. He's a tough front rower. He gets better as the game gets tougher. And it doesn't get any tougher than this, does it? Close. Hanging on to dear life is Birch from the Rebels. Last tackle coming up now for the Bulls. Came off Newcastle. Back to Smith. It's play on. Needs to flick it back on the inside because he's going to be ending up between the steel fence. Luckily, he was able to dodge that. But the referee getting a call from the touch judge here to say that it came off a Bulls player here, Susan. So another opportunity for them. And this match, we say it a lot of times in rugby league, will go right down to the dying moment. And of course, if we're locked up at full time, we'll go to Golden Point. This is Ashcroft from the Wagga Kangaroos, giving it back to Shields. Sees the line in front of him. Couldn't extend his margin, extend his ham. 5 metres away from the goal line. Rebels hanging on desperately here. Are they about to crack? Not on that occasion. Graham is with it again. Back to Hands, kicking for himself. Rebels. Play on. Could be a try here. Indecision at the back from the Rebels may have cost them the match. Try time to the Bidgee Bulls. Well, it'll be interesting to have a look on the replay as quickly as we can see this one, because this is a pivotal point in this match. We're locked up at 28 all with 2 minutes 30 to go. The kick could well decide the under-18s here.
Absolutely fantastic.
Well, this is it on the replay. Let's check out all this. Little faint kick by Hands, the captain. It was Matt Cooper at the back, who thought for a moment all he had to do was knock it over the dead ball line, but it came back off his shoulder, back towards the Bidgee Bulls, and they were able to score the try, which locks us up at 28 points all. Phenomenal game of under-18s here at Glenwillow Park Stadium. The kick. Well, James Smith has the chance now to be the hero, to be the man of the moment. From the Cootamundra Bulldogs. And he does just that. He takes the Bulls to the lead by 2. 30 points to 28. And we've only got 1.5 minutes to go here in the grand final of the under-18s. So Newcastle, will they look to go short here? That's exactly what they do. But Sam Bramich was awake to it. He's got a scholarship with the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, the centre pairing. And I know Claude Edwards, who's outside of him. Big raps on him as well. So we've only got 59 seconds remaining in the contest here. They just need to hold on to the football and bang it into touch and count down the clock. The Rebels looking that an error will come fairly shortly. Let's see how this game unfolds. It's the last tackle now for the Bulls. The Rebels through Musgrove on his own 10-metre line. He's got to go 80 metres. Ashcroft in there in defence. The Rebels, 18 seconds to go. This is probably going to be their last play of the match. What do they have in their attacking arsenal? A little kick goes downfield. The Bulls pick it up on the full. And the clock is going to be against Newcastle here. It's full time in the Under-18s Country Championship final. The Bidgee Bulls have come back and won the contest in the last 2 minutes of the match. They've defeated Newcastle by 30 points to 28. Great moment here from the Bidgee Bulls. Celebrations, not just on the field right now, but they'll continue their celebrations as they head back onto the coach and travel back down to the Riverina area. Newcastle there on screen. Well, they can hold their heads high, can't they? They were able to get back into the contest and give everybody a display of rugby league that we love to see from them with their attacking style play. But unfortunately, in the end, the Bidgee Bulls have just gone the extra distance and they've been able to come away with the grand final, as I mentioned, by 30 points to 28. Well, Susan Young, the Chief Operations Officer of the NRL, fantastic to have you in the commentary box, and no doubt, hopefully we'll see you up in Suncorp Stadium.
Absolutely. I'll be up there working behind the scenes and then working with the sponsors. That's part of the rest of my job, which sort of is a very broad-based role. Covers integrity unit, welfare and education, government relations, strategy. So it's really quite a broad role in addition to the operations part.
Fantastic, doing a great job, no doubt, and onwards and upwards from here.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem.
Enjoy
that was
your
Susan
day.
Young. Thank you very much. And you do just you mentioned to us. Have a phenomenal day. And we'll catch up with you when we head up to Lang Park for the Origin Decider of 2015. Well, Terry Liveropoulos is back in the commentary box. Bidgee able to do it in the end by 2 points to knock off Newcastle.
And what a great try. Last 2 minutes, looked like the ball was going to go over the dead ball line. One of the plays, quick thinking. He managed to get the ball back in there, and he was, I think the fullback, James Smith, got his hand on the ball. And in the end, they got up 30-28, and it was Smith's kicked 5 out of 5. That proved the difference. The only kick that was missed came from Newcastle. So in the end, James Smith, the fullback, kicked 5 out of 5 and got Bidgee up 30 points to 28.
Well, what we might do now, Terry, is we'll just pause here for the presentations and we'll come back for our third game in the Tier 2 Grand Final between the Tigers and Riverina.
Congratulations, Bidgee Bulls. Great game, one of these type of games I've played in, so well done. Your sponsors, AAMI and the rest, thanks for putting this event on, and the Mudgee venue is really good players. To all the Newcastle crew, the boys have had a great time playing with this, and today we can't do it again, but did our best. And yeah, congratulations.
Thank you, Jack. To present the winning shield, I'd like to introduce Country Rugby League Life member, former underage league coach Tommy Nelson.
Thanks very much, Bert. Just before they call us to some time, I'd like to congratulate the AAMI on a magnificent game of rugby league. All the players, the coaches, managers and trainers are to be congratulated, I feel. Thank you very much. I'd like to congratulate Country Rugby League again on the structure of this championship. The way they run through and how they come together in the final. So it's another one that we've got done, and two sides today have done justice to this great rugby competition. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. We have the winning captain up, please.
First of all, I'd like to thank Newcastle for a good game. I'd like to thank Bidgee, Country Rugby League for putting it on. Our coaching staff, Timmy, managers, Soddy, all the trainers, and our boys. We cut to the our boys, won every game by 2 points. Just goes to show how much we can fight. Thanks.
Just keep it quickly, range then.
Thanks again to both teams. Very shortly, John Mitchell will be at the country rugby for you.
Pretty high. No, it's not, Neil. It is. The cat did it. That's true. Mate, stay calm. We do this all the time. Okay. I'm going to do it. You'll be fine.
Sometimes only a real person will understand.
Hi. I've been in a bit of an accident.
Do you need any emergency services?
No, I think we've got that covered.
Luckily, you can speak to someone at AAMI 24/7.
Neil, you're not that high.
Real guys, real sport. Bar TV. Real guys, real sport. Bar TV.
When I played professional footy, it was all about the training and what I ate. Champions don't run on junk food. So if you want to get the most out of your game and your life, you've got to put the right stuff in. Don't undo all your hard work with what you eat and drink. And after a game, think fruit and water. When the whistle blows, make sure you finish with the right stuff.
Authorised.